Sports. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Light skin shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
If you're drunk, blasted. Rip, blaster.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
Well, in this fantasy football world that we live in, we know everyone loves wide receivers. What is the difference a wide receiver can make? The impact of a wide receiver in a game. We've seen some of the top ones, the elite wide receivers, and get paid. We've seen the hold-ins, the hold-outs. And now apparently we are seeing something come together. There is an offer on the table from the wide receivers we have talked about a whole heck of a lot this offseason. And we are here. It's week 1 of the preseason. We watched the Hall of Fame game last Thursday. We got games this Thursday, this weekend, rookie quarterbacks taking the field. But this wide receiver, one, what kind of impact could he make if he is traded? And what does that mean for one of the legit Super Bowl contenders in the NFL? What it do, and do we have a Tuesday show for you, everyone? Welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, got Cy Riley holding it down, the former Lobo linebacker, now a friend of the show. Jerry producing. Appreciate everyone for tuning in, and a big shout out to Isaiah yesterday for coming in, holding it down.
Did a great job.
I did not have a voice. As you can tell, I'm a little under the weather still, so appreciate Isaiah coming in, knocking it out yesterday, and glad to be back. There's so much to get into this morning. The story we just teased, we're going to dive right into that, but also got a lot of Lobo football on deck. The opportunity to talk with Noah Avenger and Trace Bruckler over the weekend after practice. You're going to hear our conversations with both those guys, and then we're going to talk about the Lobos offense and the Lobos defense as we're in it. We're getting ready for that season opener at University Stadium, August 24th against Montana State. But Cy, the news I'm talking about, of course, it's Brandon Aiyuk, the San Francisco 49ers wide receiver. He's been wanting to get paid. San Francisco says, hey, we like you, but we're not really ready to do this deal. And then all of a sudden reports came out yesterday that the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots, they're all in. They have deals in place with their San Francisco 49ers to trade for wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Now it's up to Brandon Aiyuk and his team to work out a long-term extension with either of those teams. The 49ers had given not just the Browns and Patriots, but the Commanders and Steelers also permission to negotiate with Aiyuk's agent. According to the reports, now the Commanders removed themselves from the trade talks. The Steelers did not like how the asking price that the 49ers were going in. But Brandon Aiyuk, what kind of difference maker could he be? First off, for the New England Patriots, which, by the way, I love this move because they're a team that just drafted a quarterback in Drake May. They have the bridge to Jacoby Brissett. They have to start a foundation. They have to start somewhere developing offensive talent. When you have the quarterback on a rookie contract like Drake May going all in on Brandon Aiyuk, is a good play for them. And for the Cleveland Browns, it also screams that they're desperate to make sure that Deshaun Watson can be a playmaker because they already have Amari Cooper. They traded for Jerry Jeudy earlier this offseason, gave him a contract extension, and now looking to do the same thing with Brandon Aiyuk, and that's not going to be a cheap contract extension. But let's start there. Aiyuk to either of those destinations, what kind of impact can he have?
Yeah, when you look at a team like
the New England Patriots, they've always had great receivers. You know, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, obviously Randy Moss is the top of the list. Rob Gronkowski at the tight end position, even Aaron Hernandez to an extent at his time when he was with the Patriots. So they've always had great ball players. And when you add a guy like Brandon Ayuk for a guy who doesn't have that much experience into the NFL, you know, he'll get some time as he gets the reps. Drake May, I'm talking about, you know, he'll be able to grow with him, and you'll have a solidified, you know, number one option in Brandon Ayuk. And with the Cleveland Browns, again, they have playmakers all on the field, offensively, defensively. You know, when you add another guy like Brandon Ayuk who can get it done, you know, in the slot, out there wide, set wide, a number one option that can, you know, even play number two sometimes, obviously working with Deebo Samuels in San Francisco and Christian McCaffrey, he hasn't been the focal point of their offense. So now you send him down to a team like either New England or Cleveland Browns, he'll be the focal point of their offense, trying to get them going. Nick Chubb, obviously, coming back off of injury, so you don't want to add to his load. So being able to stretch the field vertically and across the middle with a guy like Brandon Ayuk would take carries away from Nick Chubb, would keep him healthier and allow the Cleveland Browns to get rolling.
Yeah, the Browns one is so interesting with what they've done this offseason, acquiring Jerry Jeudy, giving him that contract extension, knowing that Amari Cooper is at the end. They gave him a little bit more guaranteed money over the last 2 years of his deal as he, you know, passes 30 years old in his NFL career. But for the Browns, you know, they're desperate to make sure that Deshaun Watson clicks. Deshaun Watson turns into something with everything that invested in him, and he's played a whole 12 games in the last 4 seasons with everything that he's gone through. But you can also see what Cleveland is doing and eyeing, all right, this could be a move for them. That you look at Ayuk, that's going to be a 4 or 5 year deal. And so they're saying that, all right, they're solidifying their offensive future past the next couple years, going in on those wide receivers. The Patriots, you just laid out there, it's solidifying a number one target and trying to develop your offense. I'm surprised that the Steelers pulled out in this, because this is a team that we're going to get into it this morning. The news that's coming out that, you know, Justin Fields could actually be turning heads. And with Russell Wilson missing time with a calf injury, it's opened the door for Justin Fields to make this a quarterback race in Pittsburgh for their QB1 to start the season. Because outside of George Pickens, you're looking at some veteran wide receivers. Roman Wilson, they drafted, I think, about third round out of Michigan. Like, I think this would have been one I wouldn't have mind seeing the Steelers pay up a little bit. I know it's not necessarily one of the things that they do, but they don't have an expensive quarterback on contract. They don't necessarily have a quarterback of the future yet. And, you know, George Pickens has flashed some potential, but I don't know if he's, you know, a game in and game out number one wide receiver. I'm surprised that with what they've done, trying to do things a little bit differently this offseason, that they weren't more aggressive going after someone like Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, and obviously as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan myself, like, I would have loved to see Brandon Ayuk in the black and gold. But I think the emergence of Van Jefferson this training camp, what I've seen from the discourse on Twitter, what I've been able to read from, you know, NBC, the Post-Gazette out there in Pittsburgh, you know, the emergence of Van Jefferson, what he's been able to do. Roman Wilson got hurt early on, so they've been leaning on Calvin Austin, who's been playing phenomenally, fast wide receiver, kind of gives you that vertical threat that you're looking for. And, you know, he can do things behind the line. He has some carries last season, you know, through jet sweeps and things like that. So, yeah, I think the emergence of those two players, and obviously George Pickens being able to do what he's done all his career in the NFL, you know, torturing DBs, you know, in one-on-one coverage, even be able to make, you know, heck of grabs while he's being double covered. So, yeah, the camaraderie of those three, and then Russell Wilson not being a part of it, and seeing Justin Fields' development with those guys in particular will kind of, I can see why Pittsburgh decided to lean out, because they don't want to throw another player. But again, you want more talent on your team. More talent is better than no talent. So when you have a guy like Brandon Ayuk, if he's available for cheap, which they were able to get both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields for, you know,
That's different because this isn't going to be a cheap trade.
Exactly.
For someone like Brandon Ayuk, and you can understand why Pittsburgh will pull out. But those were the teams when it was reported that made a lot of sense. The Steelers or a team like the Commanders, because you got a rookie quarterback with that rookie contract, and you could pair Brandon Ayuk with Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, a former first-round pick. Like, that made a lot of sense. But the Patriots and Browns appear to be the last two teams in on a Brandon Ayuk trade. As San Francisco said, all right, they've had enough with Brandon Ayuk. And what does this mean for the 49ers? Does the offense take a bit of a hit? Yes, it does. But you still have Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. And this is, of course, if the trade goes through, if Ayuk agrees to a long-term deal with the front runners in this. They drafted a wide receiver in the first round, Ricky Pearsall, out of Florida, kind of putting their cards on the table. I thought, though, that San Francisco, what they were hoping was to get through this season. I thought then after this year, Deebo Samuel would have been the one that probably gets cut with his contract. Then they agreed to a long-term deal with Brandon Ayuk, and they move forward there. But you also understand from a player standpoint, these guys don't like to be playing on a contract with no guarantees after this, the fifth-year option for Brandon Ayuk. So if Ayuk does leave in a trade, what do you think this does to the 49ers? They're still a really good football team, but I think it kind of goes back to, all right, if you think Brock Purdy is that guy as opposed to just being in a really good offense, they shouldn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I think last year George Kittle kind of took a secondary role in the pass game. He didn't have that many targets and receptions and, touchdowns. So if Brandon Ayuk is traded, I think we'll see a heavy dose of George Kittle like we were accustomed to seeing. Not saying that he can't get it done or with Jimmy G is not the same as Brock Purdy, but, Brock Purdy is going to start looking for George Kittle across the middle more. Ricky Pearsall, I was about to say freshman, but rookie wide receiver coming into the NFL. He'll be able to give them the steady, over the middle grabs, the outside, the numbers, catches that Brandon Ayuk can kind of get you as well. But we're always going to see CMC and Deebo Samuel. Those are the focal point of the 49ers offense. And, Kyle Shanahan will make sure that those guys get the ball the most and that they can lead this team to another Super Bowl run.
505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal hotline and text line this morning. So the Brandon Ayuk news, there's actually some movement there with Cleveland and New England, the front runners looking to trade for the wide receiver. We got a lot to get into this morning, the training camp stories. We're going to talk about that quarterback battle in Pittsburgh. Some news from Cowboys camp. Can Micah Parsons be a difference maker for this team the entire season? We know how good he is, but what's he doing recently to the Cowboys offense in training camp? And of course, our conversations with Lobo Football. We got the new cornerback Noah Abinger in town and tight end Trace Bruckler. We'll talk with Abinger coming up at 8:15, Trace Bruckler at 9:15, and then dive into both those units as Lobo Football continues their camp and they get ready for their season August 24th, kicking off at University Stadium. We got Cy Riley, the former Lobo linebacker. Jerry holding it down. You can also catch us on Pro View Networks. We'll come back, hit the phones, and more. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres. They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Expect a great showing for them, and then also get out there and see what the guys been putting in the work under this new coaching program.
Yeah, I know on Saturday they had a lot of Lobo alumni out there. They were doing a scrimmage, and then I was able to talk to some of these guys after practice, and it's a Bronco Mendenhall, his style. It's fine. Like a lot of the stuff we were able to do last year, not able to. So in terms of the reports on this team, for a lot of us on the outside, and yes, I'm still on the outside, even though I work with UNM Sports Radio Network, do the pre and post game show, we haven't been able to put eyes on this team live. Like outside of the open period. In the open period, it's usually just a lot of walkthroughs that they're doing, and then when they shut it down, kick all the media away, that's when they get to work. And so that's why there is such an unknown with this team, but there's a big opportunity because of so much turnover in the Mountain West Conference. And when we go down the list, the coaching turnover, the player turnover, and the track record of Bronco Mendenhall, I do think that's why there is belief that this team can turn it around. And when you have 60 new players on the roster like the Lobos do, you do have a big unknown. Like you have to wait and see. And I know, Sai, you've been on some teams that had turnover, but I can only, 60 new players, just how would you wrap your head around kind of coming together with that many players in the locker room?
Yeah, it's one of those things that, in January when you have a lot of new guys and new faces in the locker room, was kind of, okay, meet and greet everybody, shake hands, see where the, kids are from. Somebody close to your hometown, then you kind of connect a little bit more. Those people that you saw on visits, those teammates that you saw on visits, they become one of your closest friends. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where it's that initial, shock factor, but then everybody starts getting in the weight room and you're sweating and you're bleeding and you're working out together, you're grinding together, you're going through, the tedious off season that Coach Mendenhall has made these guys, go under, earn not given. So they're earning every single rep, every single, experience and moment that's, people could consider being off or, downtime. Like those players are earning it. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that initial shock factor when you see all these new people. But once you get going and you start building that team. This is, UNM's 126th football team. So, yeah, every season's different. Every moment's different. And, these players are ready for it.
Well, speaking of practice, how would you have felt practicing against another team? Would you have liked that opportunity when you get ready for a season? Because there's no exhibition games for college football.
Yeah, I've always thought about this question a lot, just because, again, in high school, you're always scrimmaging against another team, and then when you get into college, it's good on good. I think maybe one, showcase against another team. It doesn't have to be, live for 60 minutes like a real, football game. In high school, it was always 10 plays on offense, and you get 10 plays on defense, and you kind of do that until the coaches get tired. So, I always thought that would be a little bit of a bigger help. But, NCAA, they do stuff different. So I think it would have been, especially now when you have players that, again, haven't played under any of these coaches before, well, except for one, Baraka Beckett, who hasn't played against, under these coaches, haven't played against these teams with these guys, with all these new faces. Yeah, it'd be nice to get under the fire just one time before, it truly counts. But that's what makes football great is you got to show up, you got to play, and, the winner takes all. There is no do-overs.
Yeah, because, we're seeing in the NFL, they do the joint practices ahead of preseason games. How about yesterday between the Lions and Giants? Multiple fights, 3 fights. One of them, the GM, Joe Schoen for the Giants, was out there trying to break it up. And then you had Daniel Jones getting involved in an altercation. It's all good until someone gets hurt. But these camp fights, it's what happens when they come together. And Daniel Jones said, quote, I mean, situations happen like that. You try to stand up for your guys, but I thought it was a good competitive practice all day today. So that's going to happen in joint practices. But what do you think about the quarterback throwing his head in there, Daniel Jones getting in the scuffle? Is that something you think that rallies the guys and like, oh, here's Daniel Jones? Or is it Jones knowing that, yeah, this is a season that there's a lot of pressure on him in that offense, and he needs to make sure that he rallies his guys?
Yeah, it's the latter part of what you just said, because everybody's like, oh, Daniel Jones. Okay, who's next? Like, who are we seeing in week 10? Daniel Jones hasn't been – he obviously had one great year. The year he got his $40-some million, I think it's $48 million per year contract. So, yeah, he had a great year, but nobody's been able to see the New York Giants, play to the capabilities that they're able to play. This year is going to be a big year for them under Brian Daboll. They still have Kayvon Thibodeau, one of my former teammates. They have
was that back in high school?
Brian,
where was that?
Pop Warner, actually.
Pop Warner, okay.
We played for Crenshaw Cougars. I'll send you a picture, JJ. He got Brian Burns Jr. So they have all these great talents. But it's just one of those things, like, can they put the pieces together? I love to see Daniel Jones in that mix, but hey, man, they're not going to be caring that you were a part of this fight, come week 3 and you guys are 0-3. So
yeah, it's one thing, put your head in there and camp and try to stand up for your guys, but the pressure that's on the quarterback position. But the joint practices are interesting. They get feisty. You saw the camp fights yesterday between the Giants and Lions, and that's always something that's interesting. That's why sometimes you see a lot of football teams, they have that, they quote-unquote FCS opener because they don't have a warm-up or a scrimmage game. But then you can get the opener like the Lobos, and it's Montana State coming in, and guess what? The Lobos are not favorites in that game, so it's not going to be a cakewalk, and nothing is going to be easy this year for the Lobos. But that's why there's opportunity. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. We come back on the other side. Can this defender be a difference maker? The pressure is on the offense. The pressure is on the owner. But can Micah Parsons be the reason why the Cowboys have a successful season? What's he doing in training camp that could finally put him at the top of the heap when we talk about the best defensive players in the NFL? We'll dive into that next. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
You know, I can understand if you don't want to make Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. If you don't want to pay Dak Prescott $60 million per year, guarantee him close to $200 million, invest another 4 or 5 years in him at quarterback. Because it's been good in the regular season, but you're playing to win championships. You're playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. The Cowboys haven't had that chance. And 12-win regular seasons, no one cares about that when you're losing at home to the Green Bay Packers. And Jerry Jones has made that very evident in what he has said this offseason. But then there are other things that seem simple, like paying Micah Parsons, getting that extension done, not just waiting it out, or investing in CeeDee Lamb, your wide receiver number one, who will be that elite level wide receiver for Dak Prescott or whoever else could be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But could Micah Parsons be good enough? Could he have a season that is big enough that, yes, the pressure's on the offense, and Dak Prescott, questionable offensive line, do they have enough of a running game? But if Micah Parsons puts together a Myles Garrett, a TJ Watt-like season, yeah, he's nipping at those guys' heels, but it feels like there's still something more that you get out of Micah Parsons, just wrecking everything day in and day out. Is that the path for the Cowboys to be a competitive football team this season? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by Cy Riley this morning, taking your calls and text 505-246-0610. So Micah Parsons, he's feeling it. He said after Monday's practice that, quote, yeah, it's pretty much over, and I'm in rhythm now. The first few days, I haven't played in 7-8 months. I mean, I know my angles. I feel like I'm in week 4 right now. I'm in rhythm, and there's nothing they can do. And he was referencing the Cowboys' offensive line as he was destroying backup left tackle Chuma Edoga in practice and just disrupting things all day long for the Cowboys' offense. And we know Micah Parsons is that dude. We know Micah Parsons is part of the future for the Dallas Cowboys. You look at your foundational franchise pieces. When we throw the word franchise around, you know, it's always about the quarterback, but it's usually quarterback, left tackle, pass rusher. Like the players that you want to have on offense and or defense to build around. What do you think of Micah Parsons? And he's a little bit more versatile than TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, just in terms of where he lines up. But as much as we focused on Dak Prescott, the Cowboys offense, and are they going to pay Dak Prescott, could Micah Parsons be the player that keeps the Cowboys competitive this season? Could he be that big of a player that defense becomes more of a focus than the offense for the Cowboys this year?
Nah, he definitely has that capability. And the Cowboys defense does as well. When you look at a team that's got DeMarcus Lawrence, Mozzie Smith, Eric Kendricks, the longtime Viking in the middle, Deron Bland, they got Trevon Diggs. Micah Parsons has all the pieces that he needs around him to go ahead and just focus on pressuring quarterbacks, getting sacks. Yeah, I know his double team rate and triple team rate are up, and the offensive line are full sliding to him every single time, and he's getting extra guys thrown his way to make sure that he can't get to their quarterback because, again, his talent is that high that teams have to do this. So he has to be the focus on defense. When you think about the Cowboys, playing the Cowboys, like number 11's got to be that guy. So, yeah, he has the capability, but his teammates also do too. He's surrounded by great ball players that can make an impact even when he's not able to do what he needs to do. For a while there, he was talking about not being able to get over 13.5 sacks for his career. He got 14 last year, I think a half sack in the last game. So he was able to get over that hump. But, again, it's not always about sack numbers, but it is about what can I do for my team, stay out the media a little bit too much. Maybe that's taken away from his time. But, again, when you're a great player, you're going to make great plays on Sunday.
And the Cowboys, we've been hyper-focused on Dak Prescott, that contract with number this season, number next year, whether he's on the team or not. How is that affecting what they're trying to do in free agency? But I look at that defense. And Mike Zimmer coming in, and Micah Parsons also said he's been playing with the Vikings defense on Madden a lot. And I don't know if that's going to help him understand what Mike Zimmer wants to do or not. But, I feel that that's what could keep them competitive this season, because there's a lot of questions offensively. Is the offensive line going to hold up? What are you going to be able to get out of Ezekiel Elliott, who I think is fine in short yardage situations? He can catch some passes out of the backfield, but do you have any explosiveness behind him? Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, small guys that you hope can pop one here or there. Passing game, Jake Ferguson, your number 2 weapon, your tight end 1, Brandon Cooks. And outside of that, it's a lot on Dak Prescott to make those other guys that good. But that's what you should expect out of Dak Prescott when you're having the conversations of what he wants to be paid. And looking at Dallas, if they start the season 3-3, I think they'll be happy. And no one wants to just be 500. But you look at Cleveland versus Saints versus Ravens, at the Giants, then at the Steelers. Because we know team-wise, Cleveland and Pittsburgh are good, solid football teams. Questions at the quarterback position. What are you getting out of Deshaun Watson? Who wins that job? Justin Fields or Russell Wilson? The Saints, that's a game at home. The Cowboys feel like they should get early in the season. The Ravens is going to be the tough one. But if you come out 3-3, and then you have a stretch where it's Detroit and San Francisco, you're almost just in survival mode. And that's why all of a sudden kind of turned my attention to that defense. And is that defense going to keep them in games? Is that defense going to give them opportunities? Because that's a really tough stretch to start the season for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think 3-3, if I'm inside the Cowboys, locker room, I'd be happy with that. But all of America is going to give them such a hard time. Realistic expectations, 3-3 looks pretty good. They're still going to have tough games on the road in Pittsburgh, on the road in San Fran, at home against the Lions, which was a doozy the last time they played, controversial or not, but it is what it is. So yeah, they're going to play some great teams, obviously the Ravens, the Browns, but it's Jerry Jones. What is Jerry Jones going to say after these games? Is he going to be satisfied with 3-3? I think the standard that he's always set is Super Bowl or bust, but again, if you get out to a 3-3 start, that's not putting yourself in a great position to win the division and get the number 1 seed, which we have seen is so heavily. There's so much power in having the number 1 seed. You look at San Fran, what happened with them in Detroit in the NFC Championship game last year. Detroit popped up 24-6. I don't think they come back if they're playing in Detroit. Being able to have San Fran faithful behind them, rally back. So, yeah, the number 1 seed is a great power that teams are vying for, obviously. But, again, if I'm a Cowboys fan, 3-3, America's about to have a field day.
Yeah, they'll have a meltdown there. And then you look at the NFC, because I think the Eagles they were so good to start the season, so bad to end the year. I like what they've done with Kellen Moore, Nick Fangio, and by the way, Saquon Barkley's in that backfield. I think that's going to help Jalen Hurts become a more complete quarterback. There's been a lot of talk about Hurts working on his short to intermediate passing game, and what better short target there is than Saquon Barkley in the passing game. So that's going to be a challenge there just in the division. And then, of course, San Francisco, Detroit, Green Bay, who's going to pop one of the young teams. It's Caleb Williams going to be able to live up to the hype with a Bears team that is built to go right now on offense. And then all of a sudden, the NFC comes a lot deeper than it has been the last few years. But when you look at Micah Parsons, he's all in. He's ready to go. And is that going to be what could keep the Cowboys going this season, as opposed to, all the focus on Dak Prescott and that offense? 505-246-0610. It's the Sports Animal hotline and text line this morning. But when we're talking about quarterbacks, though, you have to look at the backup situation. I think the number was 66 different quarterbacks started a game last year. And we're getting close to what if time with the quarterback of the LA Chargers. But the backup situations, what type of backup do you want? Do you want the veteran guy that's been there, done that? Or do you want the upside of a young quarterback that's battling? We'll look at some of these situations coming up next, because it matters in the NFL is who your backup quarterback is. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, taint, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
These These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight.
Are wondering who their number 2 quarterback is going to be. And do you want to go the veteran route? Do you want to be, say the Indianapolis Colts, who went out and signed Joe Flacco in the offseason to back up Anthony Richardson? You could not have 2 more different quarterbacks in your quarterback room than Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco. But they have the second-year quarterback, and then the been there, done that guy who just came in, led the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs last year, coming in off his couch. And then you have other teams that are going young, say the New Orleans Saints, who have a veteran quarterback that's mid, and that is Derek Carr. And Derek Carr's like, all right, we have Derek Carr. Could be worse, could be better. But they're looking at young guys in the backup quarterback position. And I think some of it is, what type of starting quarterback do you have that a lot of teams then go the opposite. If you're young, you like to have older guys in the room. If you're old, maybe you want to have a younger guy with some potential, but it matters. And those are the things to watch in training camp is the backup quarterback battles. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by Cy Riley. One of those that's going on is with the New Orleans Saints. And it's a fascinating one to me because you look at a guy in Spencer Rattler, who there was a moment in time where people thought he was going to be a first-round pick.
Yep.
Like, and he was going to be one of the top quarterbacks off the board. Bounced around a little bit, was Oklahoma, ended up at South Carolina, and he was a fifth-round pick this year for the New Orleans Saints. He's battling. Did you play against Jake Haener?
I did.
Yep.
I sacked him too.
He sacked him. Jake Haener, the former Fresno State quarterback, who was drafted last year by the New Orleans Saints. So it's Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener battling for the QB2 role. And, Spencer Rattler has been impressing Dennis Allen. He said, quote, I think he's improving every day. There's still some things that he's doing, just understanding how to play within the scheme of the offense, how to get through your progressions, knowing how to listen to your feet, etc. But he likes what he's seeing from Spencer Rattler. And these are really interesting to me, is that kind of dynamic where you have Derek Carr, who's in the last couple of years of his contract, and the Saints maybe hoping to catch lightning in the bottle with Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler. And you've seen Jake Haener in person, you put him on his back, but then we also seen a lot of Spencer Rattler because he caught a bad rap because he was kind of this, not kind of, he was on was it Netflix or was that the QB show when he was in high school?
Overtime.
Yeah, and he came off poorly as just a dude who's all invested in himself. Like, it was one of those quarterback documentaries as young quarterbacks before going into college, and Spencer Rattler is featured on it. And boy, he did not look good, and that's kind of stuck with him for a while. But he's had the talent. When you look at some of these backup situations and what we've seen in football, and knowing that whether it's if your starting quarterback goes down for a season, you're most likely, you're not going to be in for a good season. But we saw, last year, like a Gardner Minshew stepping up. You figure, Gardner Minshew can help you win 8-9 games. But when you look at some of these backups, the veterans versus the young guys, a situation like New Orleans, what stands out to you? As being a player that's been in these situations, knowing what you need from your quarterback, what would you like? Would you like the veteran, or do you like maybe the young guys that could have some upside?
I always tend to go veterans. I've been in that position where I was the young guy that, had to step up and play if my boy Devin couldn't get the job done right, and Coach Long would, run me out there for him for, a couple of plays. But yeah, I would never want to look back, and see the young guy and everybody, tailoring to him if I'm supposed to be that guy, just for job security, just for financial purposes. The NFL is a business, so yeah, you want to have the most time out there on the field so you can earn the most amount of money. But again, when you have guys that are around the same age, that have around the same NFL experiences, it's tough because you're always going to feel like you're in a battle. So yeah, when you look like in a situation in New Orleans where you have two of these guys who don't really have proved themselves, who have, the experience, the playing experience that you necessarily would want for a, premier veteran backup like Joe Flacco, or, Sam Darnold's situation up in Minnesota. Like, are they going J.J. McCarthy? Are they going Sam Darnold? It seems like they'll probably go, Sam Darnold. But again, when you draft a quarterback, there's going to come in time eventually where it's like, okay, are we going to, especially high, are we going to move this guy that we, have trusted the past couple of years for this new cat, or are we going to roll and allow this, veteran to do what he can do, and then if he gets injured, then we'll throw him in.
Yeah, and you look at one of those situations why backup quarterbacks matter, because we're getting close to what if time. And that's with the LA Chargers. And you look at Justin Herbert, the plantar fascia issue he's dealing with. He's in a walking boot on his right foot. He's expected to be ready for the regular season, but that's a big question mark. What is that going to do to him? Is that going to linger? Is that something that's going to be popping up throughout the entire season? And they're dealing with Easton Stick stepping up. So Easton Stick was 0-4 to finish the 2023 season when Herbert was out with a broken index finger. And the Chargers, who, of course, invested that gigantic deal in Justin Herbert, didn't feel like they needed to try to upgrade their backup quarterback position. And Stick, of course, has struggled in joint practices against the Rams. And I think if you're the Chargers, that's not what you want to see happening early, given the fact you gave him the opportunity. He started games for you last season. You're hoping that he takes a step forward, and it's a new offense. Greg Roman, the new offensive coordinator. Of course, Jim Harbaugh coming in to run that offense and that entire team for the Chargers, and they didn't upgrade. And they could be in for a long season because Stick said, quote, once the ball is snapped, I can't play like Justin. You think? Like, we understand that, but that's the challenge, is then finding a backup that can somehow somewhere instill confidence. And it feels like the Chargers missed on that. And that's one of the ones you have to keep an eye on. What are the Chargers going to do? Justin Herbert's not going to be there. That's, you look at, okay, maybe he's ready in 2 weeks. That could linger to 3. And all of a sudden we're staring at week 1 of the regular season with Herbert not being available. And it's more of the same, just this frustration from Herbert, who he checks all the boxes. You look at the stats, you look at his mobility when he's on the run, the plays he can make. But if you're not available, then your ability doesn't matter. And we're talking about these backup quarterback situations. That's one I wanted to highlight too, because, the Chargers, without Justin Herbert, they have nothing offensively. Nothing. And, for as scrapped offensively as they already are, dealing a lot of their key guys, Keenan Allen, Williams, like, they don't have that go-to. Austin Eckler, they don't have that go-to guy. So Justin Herbert, with his unfortunate injury, they say he'll be ready for week 1. But again, if you get hit one time, all it takes is one time to look at Aaron Rodgers. And we know quarterbacks going into a season with the lingering issues, whether it's the calf or the foot. We saw it with Joe Burrow last year. The calf affected him. This foot injury is going to affect Justin Herbert. And they didn't upgrade the backup. There's only so much you can do at quarterback. But when you stay the same, the challenges for the Chargers. 505-246-0610, the Sports Animal Hotline and text line coming up at 8:15 here. A conversation with Noah Avenger, the new cornerback for the Lobos, as we'll dive into that defense to OD on the AM and FM here on the Sports Animal.
90. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stunker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
In the AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bob.
Well, it's because of you tuning in, hanging out with us in the mornings that the opening drive and the sports animal is able to win some awards. And maybe, yes, of course, three-time New Mexico broadcaster there, Jeff Symbieta, helps out. Jeff back tomorrow. He was up calling the Connie Mack World Series this past weekend in Farmington, so he took a couple of days off. What a championship game that was on Saturday, where the SoCal team won the Connie Mack World Series. And this big-time events in New Mexico, I had the opportunity to call the UNM Lobo women's soccer team against the U.S. Deaf women's national team on Friday night. That was a fantastic event, and getting to know that team and those players. They'd held a soccer camp for kids Saturday morning. My son got to go out there and interact with the team. That was an awesome event. So big time things happening in Albuquerque, in the state of New Mexico, in the sports world. And of course, we appreciate you, the sports fan. What it do, and welcome into the opening drive. JJ Buck joined by Cy Riley, up early, the former Lobo linebacker, who's absolutely, he's locked in now. He can't get away. Once you say yes to hosting a morning show and you show up, I'm going to keep calling you and calling you because getting people to do mornings, it ain't easy, Jerry.
It's not.
It ain't easy.
It's not.
But when you can show
it's
up,
the funnest job of the day, and your day's over early.
It is nice. Yeah. When you can show up and do a good job like Cy does, we appreciate it. He's all in. And it's a day where we got Team USA back in action. Men's basketball quarterfinal action against Brazil. Serbia has stormed back in the game against Australia. Nikola Jokic quieting Patty Mills. We're watching that. We have the soccer action semifinal, Team USA women against Germany later today. And I've been all in on the Olympics. I'm absolutely that dude. Do I watch track and field and these other events 3 years in between the Olympics? I don't.
You're watching the surfing?
But when it's on, I saw the a young woman from Florida won the gold in surfing for the United States.
And those waves are scary.
They're in Thailand?
Tahiti.
Tahiti. Tahiti. Yeah, I think the
French Polynesia.
Yes, French Polynesia. Tahiti. And I believe
Say that again.
French Polynesia.
Yeah. Sort of the surfing events. I guess there's not a lot of great surfing in, off the coast of France. So
Marseille.
yeah. Up there. That's going on. But I love it. I'm absolutely that dude. You wonder, are you going to watch the Olympics? Heck yeah. I just sat back all weekend. The track to Noah Lyles.
Crazy.
Kidding me? Where they had to go to a photo finish.
Oh, yeah.
And then we all learned that the foot doesn't matter. It's your torso. That's why they always lean in track and field. And he got it. Because watching it live, and it was like, I thought, of course, Jamaica got it. And they're like, nope. Noah Lyles backing it up. And, of course, he's talking a big game. And he's going after, like, the NBA and NFL players for calling themselves world champions. But he goes out there, wins the gold, got the 200 meters that he's going to be running in coming. This is great. Like, I love the Olympics and the stories and how all of a sudden we think we know all these things about these events we don't watch. But I think that's what makes the Olympics fun.
It's all the world controversies now.
Yeah. And okay, let's get into that. Sorry, let's do this. So, where is this on my list?
I know where you're going.
It's on my notes somewhere. I'm losing it. So, speaking of controversies, I thought I wrote this down somewhere. It's somewhere. Anyway, let's get into it with Michael Phelps. Let's do that. So, Michael Phelps, he was one of the greatest ever to do it in the pool. And Michael Phelps, when he's out there winning golds, breaking records, people looking at him sideways, going, this can't be it. Like, you got to be on something. And Michael Phelps said, nope, I'm not on it. And Michael Phelps was telling the story that at 2008 Olympics, he actually agreed to extra drug testing. He wanted to let everyone know, let the world know that he's clean, he's natural, he's doing it. But we know with the Olympics, there's so many controversies that arise. And the most recent one was we found out that 23 Chinese swimmers had tested positive for a banned substance ahead of the Olympics. However, they were allowed to compete in the Olympics, and the doping agency, the International Doping Agency, accepted that it was tainted food that they ate, which then led to the positive drug test. So Michael Phelps, came out and he said, you should be one and done. He wants, if you test positive for anything, you're out. Like, you should know what's happening. I'm not ready to go to that extreme, because I do think that there are things, as much as you control everything as an athlete, that could slip through if you just accidentally go, I'm just out on the run, let me buy this protein shake, or let me go into GNC. And it's easy to say you should know that everything is going into your body. I don't think I'm as extreme as one and done as Michael Phelps. But when you hear that as an athlete, and I think the swimmers from England too came out and he said, I feel cheated now, because I think it was, I believe, 7 of those Chinese swimmers won medals. And of course, 9. Some of them were 9 of the swimmers won medals. And then of course, some of them were in team, the relay events as well. So I can understand how you feel cheated as an athlete, but Michael Phelps, one of the best Olympians we've ever seen, comes out and says it should be one and done. One strike, you're done. How do you feel about that? And especially, Si, you've been on that field. You've been a competitor.
Yeah, I understand Michael Phelps' frustration, especially because, again, for all the medals that he's won, he's never, tested positive for a banned substance. So I get the frustration he's having, when it comes to this. But again, I'm not on the one and done train. Accidents do happen, as crazy as it sounds. But again, I also believe that if it happens in the same season, there's got to be some time for a review of some sort. So you just can't, all right, I test positive, I just ate some, it was some food or whatever, and then turn around and race in the Olympics. So I do think there needs to be some type of period where an investigation, needs to be conducted to where, you're not having these players where it's a false, we're just hiding it behind the fact that they, went out and on the town and, somebody slipped something in on accident or whatever. They used some soy sauce that wasn't, whatever. Like, it's got to be some type of period where they can actually review what's going on and see, okay, a little bit later on, is this substance still tested in their body? And especially if they come back positive, okay, well then, 2 or 3 days, whatever the science is for it to get out your system. Let's see, if it's food, quotations, air quotations, if it's food, let's test you, immediately as soon as that time period's up and see if that substance still in, because guess what? Then that makes it not food.
Yeah, and we know there's unfortunately always something that arises. It's not just the Olympics, it's other sports. And we've looked at how leagues have changed their testing policies, kind of Major League Baseball, and what has gone on since the end of the steroid era and how that has escalated, the suspensions for testing positives for PEDs. And I can understand the absolute frustration, too. If you're an Olympic athlete, and this didn't come out until media reports surfaced, describing, 23 Chinese athletes tested positive, but then there was an agreement that, it was just bad food. And then they show up to Olympics and you have 9 of those athletes winning medals, some of them as part of relay teams. So you can understand how some of those other athletes at this point, there's no positive tests, there's no media reports, and everyone else that's looking sideways. And I do think that's a battle in sport. It's a challenge in sport of having as level a playing field as you can, because you understand that things are out there. And athletes put their bodies through a lot to perform at the highest level, to overcome injuries, to come back and compete. I know there's some people out there that said, I don't care what they do, I just want to be entertained. But I think you should care, because there's certain things that you shouldn't do to your body, because what you put in your body now to compete, well, 10, 15 years down the line, what impact does that have on you? So I think some of it too is to protect athletes from themselves at times, to have these things in place. But I'm with you, Si. I don't think it's one and done, because I do think that there could actually be some mistakes out there, even if you're an Olympic athlete, which it feels like an athlete or fighter, these that are just seems to be controlling their diet so much more than anyone else. And when we know we're talking, basketball players, football players, etc., what the work that you guys do, it almost feels like sometimes that it's at this level, it's even more, you're controlling what you're putting into your body. I can understand the frustration. I don't think I'm at the point where I think it should be one and done, but I could see if it's 2, then that's lengthy bans. At that point in time, you're not eating bad food anymore. You're doing something.
Can I just apply some logic here? Yes. Now, was this food that they ate there in France at the Common?
No. So this
cafeteria, or is this food that was that they ate in China previously to flying to? I
think these tests occurred before they showed up.
Okay,
correct.
And 23 showed up with the same substance. So there's a commonality there that they ate at their commissary there. Shouldn't China be controlling what their athletes eat? And if there's a substance that was tainted, it seems like that's China's fault. That's just my thought.
China should be controlling. Yeah.
No excuse in this case.
Yeah, and so that's why I think you understand the frustration. It always seems like whether it's winter, summer games, there's one giant controversy with some Olympic federation.
Some political.
There's always
politicians behind the
There's
scenes.
always something, and this time it's the Chinese swimmers. But I thought it was interesting too when you have someone like Michael Phelps coming out just so adamant and saying one and done. Like he doesn't want any mistakes. And I guess there's a part of me that still understand that maybe 1% where I could understand someone actually making a mistake. Or now I don't, when I see it's 23 Chinese swimmers, that I'm with you. I'm kind of all right, I don't think y'all just ate bad food and something popped. So that's why but there's that just little piece of me going, all right, I can't be one and done, because I might believe someone else. If there was 1 or 2 people that popped, I don't know what happened, but 23, that's a large number.
Was it 4 years ago that Russia got kicked out? Why is Russia not competing? Because their folks tested?
So
but it's okay for China.
Yeah, it was just tainted food. They agreed on it, but I just think it's interesting because it just goes into kind of what we expect from athletes. You even care at a certain point, because as a competitor, you obviously care, and there's passion there from gold medal winning athletes like Michael Phelps coming out being so adamant about it. I could see 2 and done, because what after that, you're all right, you had your one, whether it was a mistake or not, penalty there, it happens again. I think at that point in time,
fool me once, fool me twice.
Then I'm thinking 2 strikes and you're probably done at that point in time.
Especially because now, if you do the 2 strikes, now you have, if I'm China, I got 23 swimmers. I got 23 swimmers that have been flagged. So guess what? I can't do this again. So I can't slip something in, whether that be the chicken or what the rice was cooked in, or noodles, whatever they're eating, in China at the time, you can't be slipping stuff into your athletes, food, and thinking that, we're just gonna put out this statement 23, it was bad food or whatever. No, hold yourself accountable. on the world stage, and don't let this happen again. And if it happens again, well, guess what? Now you just lost 23 of your best swimmers. So, yeah.
One and done or two strikes and out when it comes to trying to have an even playing field. 505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and text line. When we come back to the other side, we're going to talk about the Lobo defense. Have a conversation with Noah Avinger, who is a transfer from San Diego State, cornerback. In the secondary is a position that Lobos are hoping can take a step forward defensively. We're going to talk with Noah Avinger, then we're going to talk about the defense for New Mexico this upcoming season. That's next. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction
get home safe every day to their families. Indy Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnflow.gov/do-not-host.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road.
Back at it, 95.9 FM, AM 610. The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, Cy Riley with you. Lobo football kicks off their season August 24th at home against Montana State. 60 new players on the roster. A lot of hope, expectations. What are they going to be? What's fair expectations? But one of the players that's hoping to change things on the defense is Noah Avinger. He started his career at San Diego State, had some good performances early on, did not play last season, but he's back on the field, transferred to the University of New Mexico, and an opportunity to catch up with Avinger, who, by the way, also is from an incredible athletic family. But here's our conversation with the new Lobo cornerback.
Who are one of the new cornerbacks for the Lobos, Noah Avinger, the transfer from San Diego State. First off, man, how are you feeling, and how does it feel to just get back on the football field after you're not playing football last year?
Oh, it feels amazing. I mean, I'm blessed every day. Can't complain. You know, at the end of the day, I did sit out last year because I was injured. So just getting back out here, I'm blessed, having fun. You know, I love football, so that's what I'm doing.
What's the biggest difference for you? You know, you're heading into your fourth season as a Division I athlete. Is it just the mental side of it, what to do on a day-to-day basis? Like, what's the biggest thing now for you getting ready as opposed to when you first got to college?
I would say the biggest thing is the mental aspect of it, just because at the end of the day, Division I football, all the athletes are good. So how are you going to separate yourself is by putting in more time in the film, asking questions a lot to the coaches and everything. It's more the mental aspect. I say, like, when it gets to this level, it's 90% mental. It's like 10% physical. I would say early on in like freshman years, obviously the physical is a gap, but now that I'm kind of growing into my man body, the biggest thing is the mental aspect of the game.
And when you mention the mental aspect, is it just what it takes every day, or is it understanding the film work that's needed, the preparation that's needed?
I would say it's a little bit of both. I mean, understanding the film work, because like I've been through it for multiple years now. I kind of know what it takes going to prepare into a game, even preparing into practice. I mean, obviously you want to have your keys that you can pick up on fast, because then that allows you to play faster. That's why the mental aspect is so important.
So for you, why was the University of New Mexico where you wanted to take the next journey?
The biggest thing was I fell in love with the coaches. Coach Bronco is an amazing man and an amazing head coach. He's just guiding us as young men and let alone as great football players. So just having a leader that we can follow and look up to, that's like the biggest thing. You want someone that really believes in you and then has like a strong mindset on goals that they want to accomplish. And he's a winning coach. So who wouldn't want to play for a winning coach?
So I do think this era of athlete, you guys get a bad rap at times. You know, with transport and NIL, people think, they don't want to work hard. So when you have a coach like Bronco Mendenhall, where the message is earned, not given, how do you embrace that, and like, how does the team rally around that?
At the end of the day, I mean, it prepares you for life, because life, at the end of the day, you got to earn everything that you get in life. So he prepares it like that. I mean, with the NIL in today's world, it's kind of just given out, thrown out. And I love it here when you can like earn with the NIL and you can earn everything that you get, because at the end of the day, it's preparing you not only for the football field, but life after football too. So that's the biggest aspect, I would say.
Talking with Noah Avinger. So the defense this season, Nick Howell, defensive coordinator, what are some things that we can expect to see out of you guys on the football field?
Oh, you can see a lot, a lot. Coach Howell, he's a great defensive-minded coach. He's very smart. I mean, he has like a coverage, a play, a blitz for every little aspect of the game. So just you'll see a lot, and we got all the weapons to do so. So you'll see a great defense this year.
All right, for you and growing up, ridiculously athletic family. Your brother Lucky plays football. His sister Asia, an excellent Division I basketball player, and she was at San Diego State, now at Georgia. What was it like growing up in that atmosphere? You guys playing sports? I believe you guys are pretty competitive.
Oh no, for sure. Just growing up, I mean, obviously we all play sports. We would just treat each other like a competition every day. Like with anything we do, we're playing games. We're going back. My sister would play football with me. I would go play basketball with her. I mean, I'd just say the competitive aspect has kind of like instilled that in us. Our parents are very competitive too, so they kind of instilled that mindset into all of us and just allowed us to be those athletes and get on this stage that we're at now. So.
All right, lastly for you, man, I know guys are locked in. Practice has started for the season, but EA Sports, you guys dabble in that at all? You guys firing it up?
Yeah,
it's back.
Yeah, we're actually like extremely fired up about that. Before fall camp started, we were probably playing it more, but now, I mean, it's locked in. We focus on football. That time will come kind of later in the year, but at the end of the day, I mean, excited to have it back. I mean, it's been like 10 years since the game.
Yeah, but what's it like to be able to be a part of it?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. Like seeing yourself. I don't know. Like the only like it's so unreal. Like it's an unreal feeling just because like growing up, you always see players in the game and stuff like that, and you would never think that yourself would be in the game, and then when you finally see it happen, it's just like an amazing feeling.
That was Noah Avinger, new Lobo cornerback, and you look at this defense, and there's players like Christian Ellis, Tavion Combs, Derek Moore returning at the safety position. The defensive line, a lot of returners there. Some of the linebacker spots, well, got to fill the hole that Cy Riley left after 4 years at the University of New Mexico. When you look at this defense, Cy, you've played with a lot of these guys. It is a new scheme, though. What do you think they can do? What are you expecting from these guys?
I'm expecting a lot of player movement. Their defenses, Nick Howell is doing something a little bit different. Everybody's used to the, Rocky Long 3-3-5. This is now the 4-3, 4-2-5. Got a nice nickel package, but we're going to see a lot of pass rushers. The emphasis is the quarterback. Stop the quarterback, contain the quarterback, and have DBs that can tackle. And we can see that between, Derek Moore and Noah, Tavion, him getting back from, his injury-plagued Lobo career. So, yeah, it's going to be a really nice thing for Lobo fans and, nation to see what the players can do, what Coach Howell's having the defense look like and rally to the ball and, make big plays and also just make the plays that are there, with the ability to use 4 pass rushers. Now you're going to see the line of scrimmage be controlled a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm just super excited to see what the guys are going to do.
505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and Text Line. What are your expectations for the Lobos this season? I want to dive more into, what even a change like that does, 4 down defensive linemen versus a 3-3-5, how that changes the responsibilities of players on defense and what you could expect from the Lobos defense this season. First time we'll see them on the field August 24th against Montana State. We'll dive into that next. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
So what are the differences? Not just players, but scheme. What does it all mean? Sometimes you just don't know. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM. AM 610, the sports animal. JJ Buck, joined by Cy Riley, who just wrapped up playing linebacker 4 seasons at the University of New Mexico. Jerry holding it down, producing. And, of course, you can catch us on ProView Networks. Adrian doing a great job there. But had the conversation with Noah Avinger, who started his career at San Diego State, had 2 really good years, did not play last year due to injury, but he's back on the field. And you expect Avinger to be one of the difference makers at cornerback for the Lobos. But what is that defense going to look like? We heard, so much about the 3-3-5, the Rocky Long defense, of pressure, bringing different looks. But now it's a 4-down front for the Lobos, maybe more nickel. And who better to describe what that could look like than Cy Riley, who knows defense much better than any of us when trying to have this conversation. So what is different, in a defense? Ultimately, you're trying to do the same thing. You're trying to rally to the football. You're trying to get the football back for your offense. But what does change from a 3-down front to a 4-down front? The responsibilities at each level, and then just even the expectations of how a defense like that stacks up against an offense.
Yeah, so with our 3-3-5, you're asking your DBs to come down and make tackles a lot of the time, just because again you're wanting the ball to, you're playing a field defense, right? You're wanting the ball to go into the boundary, you're wanting the ball to bounce, you wanted to keep the offensive player, east and west instead of north and south. So with 3-3-5, you're typically using a linebacker to fill the void of that fourth pass rusher. Last season and my time here at UNM, that was me. With a 4-3 or a 4-2-5, now you're removing that linebacker, that outside linebacker, making him more of a rush guy. So he's still an outside linebacker, on the depth chart, whatever, but he's more so a defensive lineman that's a hybrid, that who can play, linebacker. If he needs to drop occasionally, you see that with Pittsburgh and TJ Watt, where, you look in Cleveland, you have Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is more so pass rusher, you can come off the edge. He's typically, accredited to a 4-3. When you have a 4-2-5, you're looking at TJ Watt, being that hybrid defender where he can sometimes, drop back into pass. So, yeah, it's a little bit different because you're going to start seeing the bigger guys, the bigger defensive linemen now being involved in, stunts and being able to muck up gaps and, get hands on bodies and be able to move and control the line of scrimmage a little bit more when you have, let's say, a 235-pound dude. Now you have a 290, 285, outside rusher who typically normally works off of the edge, who, runs stunts with a tackle or a nose guard. So, yeah, it's just a little bit different in terms of controlling the line of scrimmage, but, again, also allowing you to get into your pass rush.
Yeah, that's it. You bring up a point, too. One of the things we saw, for so long with Rocky Long being a part of the Lobos as head coach and defensive coordinator, you mentioned, there's defensive linemen. Sometimes there were smaller guys. You were looking more at quickness. Now you kind of have that transition. I'm looking down and I see Bryce Santana listed at 301 on the line. Kyler Drake 285. So just trying to get bigger, kind of that more traditional, like run stuffing tackles. Is that some of the things too?
Yeah, and Bryce, over the years he's been at 285, 280. So again at 300, like that was one of the things we talked about. Like how is he, going to get to 300 when he normally at like 270, 275? So, but again, there's a healthiness involved aspect to it. It's not more so just eating to gain weight, but also like most of that being muscle. Kyler Drake, same thing. He's enormous. It's funny that you named off both of my roommates. So, yeah, just be able to see these guys, again, gain mass and muscle through the offseason training that the strength coach has been able to do, Coach Blackjack, what he's been able to do with the guys. So, yeah, it's bigger bodies, allowing them, but still keeping that same quickness, same movement. Because, again, you're not asking these guys to go run a 40 every single play, but within that 5 to 10 yards of them doing their job, can they do it to the fastest capabilities? Can they do it to the best strength-wise? And so, yeah, it's going to be a fun year if I'm a pass rusher.
Well, it was. I know those guys are your roommates, but I look at them too. Both of them, Kyler Drake, Bryce Santana listed, they're redshirt seniors. They've been here for a while, and I think both of them are looking to have big, impactful seasons too.
Yeah.
And when you look at the roster, and there are also guys right now that have numbers, and that means something right now for the Lobos. Of course, if you have seen it on social media last couple of weeks, Lobos, what Bronco Mendenhall does, he makes the players earn their number. Right? It's an earn, not giving, and that's really everything they do in the program. And you look down at some of the defensive players that have numbers. It's Kyler Drake, it's Bryce Santana, Tyler Keeney, Gabe Lopez, like guys that have been here, and that shows you something because those are veteran players, and these are guys that have an opportunity to make a difference this season.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like even the other day, I was taking a shower and I was like, wait, Tyler Keeney's got 7. So what number does Tavian have? And Tavian went back to 16, which was his number of freshman year. But I was like, dang, Keeney's got 7. Gabe chopped off the 9, so he was 99. Now he's just 9. So it's great to see these guys take pride in choosing their numbers and put in all the work to get their numbers. It's not something that's just given to them. Of course, going back to the earn, not given mentality of you got to earn your way onto the field. You got to earn the coach's trust. You got to earn every rep in the weight room. Nothing's going to be easy, especially on August 24th when they're in the deficit. Like they're not favored to win the game at home, against the FCS school. So again, it's just going back to everything that Coach Mendenhall and the coaches have been preaching is just you got to work for it and then take pride in the things that you work for and the successes that they bring.
Coming up at 9:15, we're going to switch it over to the Lobos offense. Had the opportunity to catch up with Trace Bruckler, one of the tight ends who, by the way, is rocking number 5 this season. He's earned his number, but we talked to him about coming back, having that extra year now behind him, overcoming a season-ending injury for him, and talking about the offense, what we expect to see from the new look Lobo offense, but yet we know Devin Dampier is the guy at the helm. So we'll talk about that at 9:15. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Bank.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Is up next at 10 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
Well, Patty Mills hit a game-tying shot to send it to overtime. Australia and Serbia, what a game that was, going down to the wire. Olympics quarterfinal action, and then Serbia wins it in overtime. Nikola Jokic, 21 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals for the Joker as Serbia moves on. And then we'll turn our attention to Team USA later today. They take on Brazil. U.S. women's soccer team semifinal action against Germany. So some big-time knockout stage games going on as the Olympics roll on. Medal count, always watching that. And just all in, baby. All in Paris 2024. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck joined by Cy Riley this morning. Jerry holding it down. Adrian on ProView Network doing a great job as well. The preseason coaches poll came out. An early look at, of course, the top 25, and it's a new look season. A 12-team college football playoff is here. So you're getting the top 5 highest rated conference champions, a ton of at-large bids. So it's a new season in college football. Well, the coaches poll just gives you an idea of who to keep an eye on early. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, the top 5. Then you have Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, and Florida State rounding out the top 10. And when you look at this college football playoff, I think it's going to be awesome. And the one thing, though, when you look at the top 4 teams who get a bye into the quarterfinals of the college football playoff, it's almost a bit of a bummer because you don't get to host that home playoff game. So I think that's going to be electric, seeing these first-round matchups at the home sites. But, of course, if you're a top 4 team, that's where you want to be. You're playing one less game, but you miss out on that opportunity of getting to host a home playoff game in college football, which is just wild to think about. But I know we were talking about this a couple weeks ago and didn't really get a chance to dive into it. You were mentioning, inside that you were looking at how it would shake out, and you actually were saying, man, if you're like the number 3 seed in this bracket, is that what you like? Think there's a really good path there?
Yeah, I think the 3 seed is probably it's 3 and 5, 3, 4, 5. If you can get any one of those, avoid 1 and 2 until you absolutely have to play them in the regular, what would be a 14 playoff. If I'm 3, 4, 5, especially if I'm number 5, you play the number 12 seed, at home. The only thing with that is that, again, you could get injured, your players injured and things like that. But, again, you build momentum going into a, prototypical college football playoff game, beat them, then you play the, 4 seed, I'm assuming. And, yeah, it just moved like that. So I think that would be the best case scenario is either you're a 5 seed, 4 seed, 3 seed, avoid 1 and 2 for as long as possible until you absolutely have to play them.
Yeah, Mitch, you think about the difference now. So if you're that 5 seed, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 games that you'd have to win to be a national champion. And that's the difference now with the 12-team college football playoff. And I think it is going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. I think we know at least right off the bat what the 2 teams, so you have 4 teams for sure, right? It's the teams that play in the Big Ten championship, the teams that play in the SEC championship, are going to be in it. The winner is probably going to be one of the top 4 seeds, and then of course the other team is going to be an at-large team, and then you have your conference champs, of course, the ACC and Big 12 are going to be in there. What's going to be interesting is the race too for that group of 5 spot. Who should we be looking at as one of those teams to get there? Team goes undefeated from the Mountain West Conference, so they have an opportunity to get in a 12-team college football playoff. The answer is yes, that opportunity will be there. But as someone that you play college football and you look at, your goal is to win your conference. You want to get to a bowl game, but just as a college football fan, do you like that it went to 12?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm a fan and I love watching college football, and I love everything, all the history and the tradition and the aura of it all, then absolutely this is the best thing. But also I think the best thing for, these teams, like you don't have to leave out 2 SEC schools or, a third or Big Ten, like whatever. You can get all of the best schools that are actually vying for a CFP championship in to play each other, and then tournament style, let's see who wins. Like it's not anymore of the he say she say, we're Cincinnati, we're the champions, even though they didn't win the championship. Like it's none of that anymore. It's okay, we're gonna put the best 12 teams in, and if you are who you say you are, come show it on the national stage.
I do like that. With the 12-team college football playoff, what seed you want to be in? Some good ideas there. Of course, anytime you want to avoid 1 and 2 as long as you can if you're not the 1 or 2 seed in a tournament. I think it's going to be really interesting with preseason college football coaches poll came out, so you get an idea of where some of the early expectations are leaning atop college football. 9:15, we're going to dive into the Lobo offense. Trace Bruckler, the tight end, joins us. We have a conversation about him, 2 years removed from a season-ending injury, and his expectations for the Lobo offense. And as we continue to build towards this season, home opener for UNM, August 24th, Montana State, out there at University Stadium. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look, it's Dwight Goodman. Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
for 5 years running.
It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
As a Colorado Rockies fan, I like to take a lot of shots at my Rockies. They've struggled over the last few seasons, but it always could be worse. You could be the Chicago White Sox for having one of the worst seasons we have ever seen in Major League Baseball. Yeah, I like to poke fun at my Rockies, and of course some of that falls, of course, on the Isotopes and the struggles the Topes have had, but homestand starts tonight. Isotopes back in town. It's going to be popping. All the giveaways, everything they got going on at Isotopes Park still makes it a fun event, a place you need to be during the summer. But when it comes to baseball, the White Sox tied an American League record, losing 5-1 to the Athletics last night. Now, there's 21 straight losses, and the NL record, though the overall record, is held by the 1961 Phillies, who lost 23 straight. And the Major League record, you have to go back to 1889. Anytime you're going back to the 1800s, it's not good for a record. That means it hasn't been broken for a long time. But that is 26 consecutive losses to the Louisville Colonials. They're in the American Association then. But the White Sox are there. And you look, and they've won 27 games. They're 27-88. That is 41 and a half games back in that division. That's just, it's mind-boggling. We've seen losing streaks in sport, especially when you play that many games. You're playing a boatload in baseball, 82 in basketball. There's maybe sometimes NBA and NHL team 10-game losing streak. Baseball, you drop a couple series in a row. 21 straight losses almost seems like it would be hard to do.
They could be 26-89. Yeah,
it could be worse.
Could be worse. I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, you got to look at what you're doing from the top down, because it's unprecedented. It's crazy. If I'm a White Sox fan, like, I know anytime you go to a game, like, you expect your team to win, you want your team to win. Like, no, I would be pressed because we haven't won any of the games that I've been there, Yeah. So yeah, it's disappointing, but again, like, with their lineup, like, it's one of those things, like, what do you kind of expect?
What do you think would be harder, to win 21 straight games or to lose 21 straight games?
No, it's got to be losing 21 straight games, because again, like, it's one of those things where, okay, you lose a series, all right, we'll get the next one. Then you go back to back, it's like, okay, well, we'll find our rhythm. And it's one of those things where it's just like, once the ball gets rolling and it's going, it's hard to stop. And then you kind of just get like into the field where it's like, oh, well, we lost this one, so we're probably going to lose the next one. It's just a bad, and obviously me being a player and, us going on losing streaks, like, it's one of those things where it messes with you mentally. And it's hard to snap out of it. But man, I'll tell you what, as soon as once they break it, like, if they can get one, if they can avoid history, if they can get it, they're gonna be celebrating like they just won the World Series.
Like they just won the World Series. Because you look at that, and this is one where I think on the outside, people are like, of course, they're bad, they checked out, but no one wants to be a part of that. Like, yes, you're a bad team, but losing 21 straight games,
yeah,
like, not everyone on that roster is checked out, because this is their livelihood. Like, they're still trying to be professional baseball players. whether it's with the White Sox moving forward the rest of the season or somewhere else after this. And that's why you see things like this. And it's just crazy to me that they haven't pulled out like one victory. When you get into extended streaks like this, is it when it's at 21, man, it's different than say like, you know, football team. All right, maybe you drop 3 in a row, but this is like every day. Like, it's not like, all right, we're going to practice. We got a couple days. Let's work on a new game plan. No, this is, you got to go out there again, and it's not changing. And again, and again, and again. And I just, man, I can't imagine what it would be like trying to be in that building. No, not even just a player, but anyone in that building, a concessions person wanting to go to work there and be like, oh, here we go again. This team is going to lose. That's got to be like the worst vibe. Imagine.
It's got to be because, again, like their last one was in June. So it's August.
It's August 6th this morning.
It's August 6th. So, you know, and especially like after All-Star break, it's like, okay, you know, go rest, go do what you got to do, you know, come back, mentally recharge. And it's like the same old. They just can't get over the hump, which is sad because, you know, you go back and you look at these box scores and, you know, they have a game where they score 6 runs, 7 runs, 8 runs, but they're on the losing side. Like they're giving up 13 and 10 and 9. So it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, let's evaluate what we're doing top down, whatever superstitions, you know, everybody's doing, everybody stop.
You better have one now.
Yeah, you got to figure out what it is that's causing all of this. And then, but I'm telling you, man, if they can get, all they need is one, and I guarantee you, everybody, you know what, they might give out champagne to the fans who are in the stands. Like they might have to.
Be wild.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
21 straight losses for the White Sox as they go down to the A's last night. We did see a return. Big news for the Los Angeles Dodgers as Freddie Freeman was back in the lineup, but we found out, you know, what his son was going through. His 3-year-old son Maximus was battling a rare neurological disorder, and the Dodgers wore t-shirts that said #MaxStrong on them. A very emotional Freddie Freeman pregame and postgame. Of course, you're going through that with your son. His son was hospitalized, but he comes back into the lineup. The Dodgers beat the Phillies 5-3, and that's a gigantic series. Like, this is, you know, look at the Dodgers and Phillies. That's an NLCS preview. Like, the Phillies have been the best team in baseball. The Dodgers, I never am worried about the Dodgers. I know we have these conversations throughout the summer, the injuries, Dodger fans with their high expectations. What are they going to do? Well, they went out and did it a whole bunch at the trade deadline to help their depth, and then getting some pitchers in the rotation and the bullpen. Freddie Freeman coming back, which, you know, that at that point in time, baseball is, of course, secondary with what was going on with his son. They're getting healthy. But to see Freeman back just from a baseball standpoint was good. 1 for 4 on the day. And if you look at the National League, this series to me screams NLCS. Like the two teams that are going to be playing to represent the NL in the World Series.
You know, I hope as a Dodger fan, you know, we haven't been back in quite a while. It just seems like we just get, you know, knocked out in the first round in wild card, or it's divisional, like whatever it is. Like we just can't get into the CS, but no, it's great to see Freddie Freeman back on the mound. I know his wife posted a picture on Instagram yesterday, you know, just expressing gratitude to the doctors, to the fans, to the Dodgers organization, you know, the family, like everything for the cause of events that, you know, happened with his son. And so I was, you know, one of those things where you see that and you just kind of like, you know, smile, because again, like there's so much things that are more important than the sport that you're playing. And it was also great that the Dodgers and our Dodger faithful was able to give Freddie the, you know, rally and support and encouragement behind, you know, first game back in 2 weeks. So it was great to see all of that. It's great to see that his son's doing well. He's doing okay, you know, working on his way home. His wife's everybody's doing good. And then, yeah, we won against the Phillies, so, you know, I'm arced up for that. So it's good to put the best against the best and see where we lie before, you know, these games get serious.
Yeah, so perspective, man. Been there, especially with anyone with kids that goes through something big. It's definitely will shake you up and remind you of what's important in our lives and what we do on a daily basis. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk some Lobo offense. Trace Bruckler, tight end for the University of New Mexico, expecting to take another big jump offensively this season. We talk with him about his mentality, how he's feeling physically, but then also the expectations for this Lobo offense. Coming up next here on the Sports Animal.
Get ready to step into the ring of excitement.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction
get home safe every day to their families. Indy Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Practice. Yes, we're talking about practice. It's camp time. We're going to see Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix this week. We should. NFL preseason week 1 action kicks off Thursday night. Of course, they had the Hall of Fame game last Thursday. No Caleb Williams, which made sense for the Bears in that game. And Lobo football continuing their work as they have a 0-week game kicking off August 24th. Versus Montana State at home at University Stadium. We talked about the defense a little bit earlier, heard from Noah Abinger. Now we're going to turn our attention to the offense and tight end Trace Bruckler. JJ Buck, Cy Riley with you here on The Sports Animal. So the expectations for the Lobo offense, what should they be and what style of football you're going to see from UNM this season? Here's our conversation with Trace Bruckler.
Here with the Lobos tight end Trace Bruckler. First off, man, how does it feel to have another year removed from the injury and just your confidence mindset after having last year under your belt going into this season?
Feels good. Last year was a good year to, like you said, that previous year kind of didn't go the right way, so I got it removed. And then last year was another year to really get my confidence back in the run game especially. And now I'm looking forward to this next season to really become a complete player.
What's the difference for you at going into a camp like this? You've done it a few times. Is it your mentality? Is it physically? At this point of your college career, like what's different about this year?
I guess it's just, like you said, I've been this is my 4th fall camp. So it's kind of just, what to expect. It's going to be tough. You just got to take it day by day, and you really can't focus on, oh, man, we got 2 more weeks left. You got to take it hour by hour, essentially. It's long days, but, you get through it,
What's it like going through a coaching change? Just for you and maybe the questions that arise, but then as a group coming back together with Coach Mendenhall, what's that process like?
It's definitely tough. The day that I heard that everyone got let go, there was a lot of unknowns. Everyone's minds were probably spiraling. But, now 8 months later, it's night and day. I don't think anybody on the team would rather be in a different spot, have a different coaching staff. I think we're all very, very grateful of the staff that came in, and we were surprised, when we heard Bronco got the call, and we're just very grateful.
So what's different about the group, the earn and not given mentality? How does that filter through the team, and how do you see the impact of that on this squad?
I love it, man. Earn not given it's our slogan, but it's in every aspect of the program, with jersey numbers, playing time, just anything, And I think that gives you a sense of you got to work for what you're given. Nothing's really just handed out. There's no handouts. You have to really just earn everything.
So Texas high school football, what's different about that?
Oh man, first off, coming from where I'm from, North Texas, Frisco area, we got 12 high schools in one district. So there's a lot of people out there. And it's just built on tradition all through the 1900s, just growing. And now where it is today, it's an unbelievable place. You got amazing recruits out there, and it's just different, man.
Well, so do the Texas guys kind of have a vibe, and you guys kind of have some rivalries against each other? And what other states try to get in that conversation of high schools?
Yeah, Texas guys it's always, I think the big 3 is Texas, Florida, and California. California always says, oh, we got Mater Dei, we got St. John's Bosco, but, those are private schools, so Texas guys are like, nah, man. And then Florida, they're actually up and coming in high school football, so, there's about three big groups, I would say, and, we do go back and forth, who's better, but, it's always Texas.
All right, Trace Bruckler, last for you, man. What excites you about this year's Lobo offense? What are the things that the fans are going to see from you guys?
I love our high-paced offense. It's speed, it's play after play after play, start to wear down the defense, long 12, 15-play drives, just chunk after chunk after chunk. And, going through the game, that third, fourth quarter defense they're going to quit, We're going to keep the foot on the gas, and we will never quit. So I think that's our advantage.
Man, bro said 1900s, and he had me shook. I'm like, hold up. What do you mean 1900? You're talking about like 1980s, 1990s. They ain't that old. I don't feel that old these days. But you're referencing something as the 1900s, and maybe I'm getting a little bit old. But good stuff there from Trace Bruckler. And it's all the smirk in your face, too, Si, when I started talking about some of that high school football, the vibe that was going on, and the Texas guys versus the Cali guys. And there's some Florida guys on this Lobo roster this year.
Yeah, but they always think they nice. Like they always think like they are it. Like no, it's CA all day. Like, but that's one of those things. It'll never be broken. Like there'll always be that rivalry. You know who's coming up in football that nobody's really talking about?
Who's that?
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
PA football is coming up. I'm liking what I'm seeing out there. Even nobody talks about Georgia. Georgia's always been good. So, yeah, those states are thrown in, but number one is always Cali.
Number one is it's population based too, and when you look at like a school like New Mexico, and people talk about the transfer portal, the roster makeup, etc. Like you have to be recruiting Texas. You have to be recruiting California, especially in the state of New Mexico, to find some of those guys just because there's just so many. Like the population base too is something they have to take into account. But I just thought that was fun. I like having those conversations because I know you're a Cali kid, but then you have the Texas guys. It's got to be one of those off to the side though, those fun things too when you guys talk about where you come from in high school football. Yeah, it's one of those, again, when you have a roster turnover of 60 plus, when they come into the locker room, where are you from? Where did you grow up? And that's where it starts. You just talk about all sports, the different levels, the who you played against, who do you know, whether that be, pro, college, where have some of your guys gone off to, just getting to know each other. But again, that battle of who's the best and what state are the best and the talent. Maryland's coming up, the DMV's coming up, so you're getting great ball players everywhere. And again, like New Mexico always will be overlooked just because it doesn't have the same sample size of players and people compared to other states, but we have talent here too. Yeah, and you look at this roster, and there's definitely homegrown players on it for the Lobos. But the thing I always go back to is when a player commits to a university, whether it's for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it may be, once they put on that jersey to be a Lobo, that's where you go all in. Like, and I don't care if it's not enough New Mexico players, enough this. Like, once you commit somewhere, you're representing that university, you're representing that state. And that's what's important to me when these student athletes make that decision. And you look at this offense this year, there's some intriguing skill players, because you look at Trace Bruckler coming back, what he's able to do in that, he has that ability to be a pass catching tight end. Caleb Medford returns. Luke Weissog is hopefully healthy, looking good, coming back. And then, of course, the running backs, I know Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is gone, but you return Andrew Henry. Then you have some transfers that came in, Eli Sanders, Javon Jacobs in that rotation. But Si, my biggest thing is that offensive line that you got to go against last year. Yeah, those were some dudes. Those are some really good dudes. You look at both tackles, went and played Big Ten football. CJ James goes to UTSA. And to me, that's the biggest question, is filling those holes. Because if the offensive line can hold up, then I think, Devin Dampier can be a playmaker, and they have enough skill position players. But it's going to be seeing who the 5 new starters are this year. Yeah, I mean, right now you just look down the roster, and there are 5 offensive linemen with numbers. That's Jawan, Baraka, McKenzie, Wallace, and Richard. So, that's got to be instinctively, okay, maybe that's the starting 5 right there. But again, when you have the amount of talent that we've been accustomed to seeing from our offensive line last year, especially, you don't want the drop-off to be that big. And I think the running backs will do a good job of making them look good. Look at a guy like Jacobs or Henry or Sanders. Even I saw Soljay, the transfer front that we talked about back in April. He's listed as a running back. So the running backs are probably going to make them look 10 times as good, but that's their job. That's the offensive line's job, is to make sure that the running backs look good, make sure the quarterback, Devin's not getting touched.
so that he's able to go and do the things that he needs to do inside the pocket, outside the pocket, deep play action, RPO, up tempo, stretch the field vertically. All those plays can happen, but it starts with those 5 right there.
Yeah, that's a good pull from you too, looking at the offensive linemen. And are those all first-year guys, if I'm not mistaken? Or?
Yeah. None of those names that I called off were here before.
Yeah, look at. I actually had an opportunity. I spoke with Richard Pierce a little bit. I do like his attitude. He's transferred from East Carolina, 6'2", 320. Then you look at Wallace Uwamba, transfer from FAU, 6'4", 330. Kinsey Agnello, transfer from Texas A&M Commerce, 6'4", 314. Baraka Beckett from Campbell and UCLA, 6'4", 340. And then Juwan Singletary, 6'2", 315, transfer from Grambling State. Good size up there, but that's always the key. You protect the quarterback, get the run game going, because that offensive line was good last year, man. And I know Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, of course, now is at Arizona, and that's going to be a heck of a Week 2 game, by the way. A lot of storylines to talk about in that game with Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt there. Of course, Danny Gonzalez on the defensive staff for Brett Brennan there now at U of A. But that offensive line, I think it's going to be the biggest key for the Lobos, because I think they do have good skill position players. You mentioned all the running backs. I think they'll find something, because I think Devin Dampier in this offense, whether it's in the pocket, showing he can throw the football, getting outside the pocket, is going to create some plays, but it's about protecting the quarterback and what comes down to right there. 505-246-0610, the Sports Animal Hotline and text line this morning. Speaking of quarterback, I want to get into a little expectations for these rookies. We'll get to see them later this week with Week 1 of the NFL preseason upon us. So when we're looking at the first-round quarterbacks, what should we expect from them this season? We'll dive into that next. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet.
Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Pre-season football. It's an opportunity to see some of the rookies for the first time, and all eyes will be on the quarterback position. Drake May should get some snaps Thursday for the Patriots. Friday, Michael Penix Jr., big opportunity because the Falcons are not playing Kirk Cousins in the preseason, but they'll play the 8th overall pick as he battles to be the QB2. Of course, he should be their QB2. Take him 8th overall in the first round. Should see Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels out there. J.J. McCarthy, the Vikings, and Bo Nix with the Broncos. So what are the rookie expectations? Who will start? Who will play? And who will be successful? It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. J.J. Buck, joined by Cy Riley this morning. And we'll start with the number 1 overall pick with the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. Everyone hyped because Chicago, they did a 180. With Justin Fields, they waited a little bit too long to invest in the offense around him. With Justin Fields now in Pittsburgh, battling for the starting job against Russell Wilson, and Caleb Williams comes in with C.J. Stroud-like expectations. But we didn't expect that from C.J. Stroud. No one thought the Houston Texans were going to be that good his rookie season, but now that's a thing. And Caleb Williams has C.J. Stroud-level expectations, talking about not just being good, but potentially having a team that is playoff caliber in year one. Because you step in there, got DJ Moore, who just got paid. Brought in a veteran Keenan Allen. Roma Dunze, who you took 9th overall in the first round. DeAndre Swift, Cole Kmet, like that is pretty darn good. But the question I have for you, Cy, is do you think he backs it up? Because I will say this. No Bears quarterback, and this is a wild stat, has ever thrown for 4,000 yards in a season. And it just seems like you're bound to do that. If you have a quarterback at least playing a full season, like he's going to somehow, especially this era, get to 4,000 yards. But last year, I think some of it was the injuries we saw. But only 10 quarterbacks in the NFL threw for 4,000 or more yards. You look at the ones that were really close. Matthew Stafford, 3,965 yards in 15 games. Sam Howell, in 17 games, 3,946. So that, like, right there, if you play a full 17-game season, you could get pretty close. But will that streak break? Can Caleb Williams, as a rookie, be a 4,000-yard passer?
Well, I hope, just so that he doesn't have to listen to all of the noise in the offseason of, the Chicago Bears, especially Justin Fields does amazing in Pittsburgh. He doesn't have to listen to, the Bears gave up. They used the first-round picks. Caleb Williams, he's not there. Maybe C.J. Stroud is just astronomically better than everybody else. Daniels has a great year in Washington. Then they're going to look like, he's quote-unquote a bust. Is this another situation of Bryce Young versus C.J. Stroud? And even Bryce Young hasn't even had the weapons in Carolina, so let's not throw him off either. So, yeah, I think it's a realistic expectation for Caleb to get 4,000 yards if he remains healthy. If he plays 17 games, we're looking at 235 a game. Obviously, there are going to be some struggles. There's going to be some progressions and some experiences that he's going to go through of not looking the best, not looking like the Heisman quarterback that he was in college, but he has all the pieces around him. He has Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Swift, the whole nine there, especially the defense got Edmonds. So there's the Chicago Bears have the capability to make Caleb Williams look better than what he might be right now. You know, it could very easily take a 15-yard in to the house. And guess what? That's 70 yards going to both DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. So they have the capability to make him look good.
Yeah, I think for me, I look at this, and I don't think it's going to be a CJ Stroud-like season because I think that was really special. I think, too, it's competing at the Lions and Packers in that division. I don't think they can win the division, but I expect Caleb Williams to have this team in the last few weeks in the wild card hunt. I think that's a fair expectation. I think CJ Stroud put together one of the best rookie seasons you're ever going to see from a quarterback, but I don't think he hits that like CJ Stroud did last year. But I think the Bears are really competitive, and I do think Caleb Williams is in a situation where he will hit the ground running. And I think he comes up just short of that 4,000-yard mark. But by next year, in that offense, Caleb Williams breaks that streak for the Bears, and they will have a 4,000-yard pass. So I am super excited about Jaden Daniels. I loved watching him at LSU. He goes into Commanders' offense that has Cliff Kingsbury as the offensive coordinator. So I think that's going to be an interesting match and how those two work together, because Jaden Daniels at LSU, everything was just so explosive. Downfield, we know he has the legs. So it's going to be about managing the NFL game, the different looks you're going to get, because one of the things with Jaden Daniels you look at, took a lot of sacks, held on to the ball at times. I think some of that, too, is thinking you can make a play every single play when you have that athleticism as he does. But he's probably the guy I'm most excited to see play at the next level. When you look at his legs can be a plus, keeping plays alive, going into an offense that has the legit number one wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. Jahan Dotson should be a little bit better, former first-round pick. Well, what are you expecting from Jaden Daniels from the Commanders?
Yeah, this is going to be very fascinating to watch. I would tune in specifically to watch how long it takes for him to get the ball out of his hands. If he's sitting in the pocket, if he's going through progressions, if he's not over, I don't want to say overlong it, but if he's not making plays longer than what they need to be, if he's taking the chunk plays that are there for him in the system with a guy like Cliff Kingsbury, who, obviously worked with Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams at USC, he's been around good quarterbacks. So if Daniels can get the ball out and make sure that everybody's feeling good, Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, if everybody's touching, you got to back Brian, in the backfield, so he's going to be doing good. It's just one of those situations where he doesn't need to scramble out and use his legs all the time and put himself in harm's way. If he can show flashes, if he can, skirt up the middle for a 25-yard gain and slide, we'll take that all day, every day. But don't try and go out there and be a one-man wrecking crew that he had to be at Arizona State, that he had to be at LSU. Because in the NFL, everybody's good. Everybody is playing in the NFL for a reason. So, yeah, just take the plays that are there, make the throws that are there, run when you need to run, make game-time decisions. And Washington, they'll be a sleeper. They'll also be vying for that wild card spot with Caleb Williams and the Bears.
You're right. I think the biggest thing is just if Jaden Daniels could be a little bit quicker in the passing game, is exactly what you just mentioned. I think that could make them really interesting because talent-wise, he checks all the boxes. And he can make all the throws, and then it's almost like a Justin Fields. People assume Justin Fields was just a runner. Well, he wasn't in college, but then he kind of became that in a poor offense in Chicago. But I think Daniels is stepping into a little bit better situation with the Commanders. And now can he show more of that overall passing game? Then the number 3 overall pick, Drake May. Well, the news, of course, the Patriots potentially trading for Brandon Ayuk. That story came out yesterday, and the reports are the Patriots have 2 deals in place with both the Cleveland Browns and New England Patriots in a trade for Brandon Ayuk. And that would be big for the Patriots because that makes a lot of sense. You're restarting on offense. You have a rookie quarterback coming in, so it's that rookie quarterback contract, so you can invest and some offensive playmakers for him. I do think Jacoby Brissett will start the season for the Patriots. And what are the expectations? It's just gaining confidence. Once Drake May takes the football field, it is just, as an organization, as a fan base, you watch him and say, okay, I see why he was the number 3 overall pick. And you understand that the Patriots do need to invest in the skill position players around him. And that's why it's almost that now that they're one of the last 2 teams, it feels like they have to get that Brandon Ayuk trade done.
Yeah, because you don't want it to be a situation where Jacoby goes down or they're not playing for anything. Okay, we're going to put in Drake May, because once you go Drake May, you're not going back. He's going to be the next starter for the next 2.5 years at least. So if they go Drake May, I would want them to have a solidified number 1 option in Brandon Ayuk, get him the ball early on in the games, make him a focal point of the offense. So when you turn to Drake May, it's okay, here's what we got to do. We got to get the ball to number 11's hands. We also got to run the ball and stop teams from scoring on defense, and just let Drake May make the ordinary plays extraordinary, make him be able to be in a pocket passer and not have to think about too much, not overread his progressions, and just make the simple plays. So if they can get Brandon Ayuk, not only would that help them now, but that will help them, again, when they turn to Drake May, because he's going to be, once they turn, he'll be the starter for the next 2.5 years.
Then the next ones are really interesting. It's the battle that's going on in Minnesota. Like, all of a sudden, Sam Darnold, he's got a lot of momentum. And it's going to be hard for J.J. McCarthy to knock him off, at least the early reports to training camp, because Minnesota is one of those teams and they feel like they should be competitive right away. Maybe that's why Kevin O'Connell is leaning more into Sam Darnold, even though they took J.J. McCarthy in the first round. And, Sam Darnold is getting another life in the NFL, stepped into a situation where, you have Justin Jefferson, veteran running back. So Aaron Jones comes in as Josh Jacobs went to Green Bay. They brought over Aaron Jones. That's what
Aaron Jones, yep.
To bring in. Jordan Addison looks like he's probably going to miss some time with everything that he had going on in the offseason. But still, you look at this one for the Vikings. If Sam Darnold clicks, then it could be a redshirt season for J.J. McCarthy.
And I would take that if I was J.J. McCarthy, because you don't need to come in and save this team right off the bat. I mean, everybody's looking at Minnesota, but we're not seeing Super Bowl contender. So if I'm J.J. McCarthy, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I come in and, everything's just going bad. And now everybody's questioning me and my capabilities as a quarterback. And the ball just keeps rolling. The media cycle is just going to get worse and worse. So I would expect them to ride Sam Darnold until they decide JJ's ready enough, or if they, fall out of playoff contention. Justin Jefferson's going to have a huge say in all of that because, again, he is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. Some people can say Devontae Adams. I don't argue with that. But when you look at strictly the numbers, when you look at the highest paid NFL wide receiver in history, that's Justin Jefferson. That's Jets. So, J.J. McCarthy, he's going to have weapons there. It's just a matter of the right timing, finding his rhythm in the NFL, his game experience. These preseasons are going to be huge for him because, again, Sam Darnold goes out. If he gets hurt, and he hasn't necessarily been healthy his time in New York as a backup in San Francisco, if he gets out early, you're going to see J.J. come in and, can he pick up where Justin Jefferson wants him to pick up, take off, do the things that Kirk Cousins was able to do, not make the simple plays harder than they need to be.
And rounding out the first round quarterbacks, rookie expectations, Michael Penix. Could we see him? We don't know, but it's Kirk Cousins coming off the Achilles. They went all in. They guaranteed him a lot of money over the first years of that contract. Kirk Cousins, the starter in Atlanta, but Michael Penix going to get a good opportunity in the preseason with Kirk Cousins not playing. And then lastly, Bo Nix. And I was anticipating potentially Bo Nix to be on kind of the Drake May path. I thought Jarrett Stidham could actually start the season for the Denver Broncos, just the guy that's been there at least for a year, done that. Then they handed over to Bo Nix because Denver's in a similar situation with the Patriots, man. There's not a lot of talent there. All right, they gave Cortland Sutton couple more bucks in guarantee money to come back in. Javonte Williams, they're hoping he regains a spark, being a year removed from one of his injuries. But for Bo Nix, I think to me, I actually think it's going to be closer race between him and Jarrett Stidham to start the season. And Sean Payton, head coach, was saying over the weekend that he likes the pocket sense of Bo Nix. He doesn't take a lot of sacks. He knows when the play's over, time to go, and then he can make plays when he's going. And that's one of the things that you were just talking about, like from these young guys, is like, keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Be accurate. Be quick. And hearing that from Sean Payton, it makes me think, Bo Nix could actually be the day one starter for the Broncos, and they just kind of go in early and try to build something.
Yeah, when you're in a situation where you're not really, I don't want to say they're not playing for anything, because all 32 teams go into the offseason in week one saying, okay, we can vie for Super Bowl, we want to win. But if we're being realistic in expectations, the Denver Broncos will not be playing in January and in February. So yeah, but if I'm in a situation where I have a guy like Bo Nix, I want to get him, if this is the guy moving forward, I want to get him the most experience, the most reps as possible. Look at a guy like Justin Herbert in Los Angeles, getting him early on as a rookie, getting him those snaps. Bo Nix, same type of caliber player as Justin Herbert. Can I get Bo Nix those experiences, those snaps, so he can see when we do create a team that is Super Bowl bound, that is in Super Bowl contention, when we have playmakers at every single position, when we have the roster that we dream of having in order to get to the Super Bowl. I want a quarterback that's experienced, not a guy that has to come in and see the bright lights and kind of be, hindered by that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm really fascinated to watch the rookie quarterbacks this season, the different levels of expectations placed on these guys when you're trying to find your next franchise quarterback. It's the opening drive here on The Sports Animal.
Summertime. That's what it is, right?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Australian Nikola Jokic moves on. Team USA taking on Brazil later in the quarterfinals. Got some soccer action, semifinal action, USA and Germany on the women's side. Should be fun to watch this morning. How about Scotty Scheffler? Big comeback to win a gold medal. Scotty Scheffler having a Tiger-esque year. We're talking 6 victories at a major championship, #1 on the money list. And Jon Rahm had a big-time collapse on the back nine. Rahm shoots 39. Scheffler shoots a 29. And Jon Rahm really hasn't been the same dude since he's been playing in Live Golf. I've lost some of that edge. Haven't seen Jon Rahm on the big stage lately. But that was a big one over the weekend watching Scotty Scheffler take the gold. And the Olympics rolling on, watching some volleyball this morning right now. United States and Poland going at it. And that's what I love about the Olympics. A bunch of sports that are just amazing. When you watch them, the high-level athletes, you go all in. Track and field, that 100-meter finish was amazing. Noah Lyles. We're going to watch the 200 meters coming up. Everything that's going on. It's been so much fun. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610. The Sports Animals. JJ Buck, joined by Cy Riley this morning. 505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and text line. We were talking about the rookie quarterback expectations. When you have that many quarterbacks go in the first round, it feels different. But when you look at, this year with quarterbacks, it's fascinating because you look at the established versus the guys that need to get something. I know I wrote down on the list that kind of making a joke about it, but it was like which mid quarterback has the biggest upside. And I think that's going to be an interesting one too when you look at Geno Smith coming back. I missed some days in practice. We saw what he kind of did 2 years ago, sparking Seattle. But are they going to be a team that's looking for a new quarterback next year? Derek Carr in New Orleans is kind of that same vibe right there. And then you have some of the in-betweens, like Vegas. Is it going to be Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew take over? I'm actually excited if I'm a Steelers fan because I think that at least there's more upside there with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Russell Wilson being hurt, sounds like Justin Fields is getting some attention. You just had the new offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, really describe how creative they can be with Justin Fields. I know, Cy, you are a Steelers fan, and you could see why they would like Russell Wilson, right? They just want that solid, maybe be able to make a big play or two, but just manage the game at a higher level than they got out of Kenny Pickett. But Justin Fields seems to be getting everyone's attention.
Yeah, when they first signed Russell, it was like, okay, let's go. We're doing something different. And then, you know, they signed Justin and they traded Kenny. I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Now we got a solidified backup quarterback. And then Russell gets hurt. And the only thing with Justin Fields, the Steeler Nation that was concerned about was, okay, maybe he's a project. Maybe he's not the type of player that, you know, guy like Russell Wilson is, where you know he's going to get you touchdowns, keep the turnovers to a minimum. Justin Fields, high risk, high reward. You know, he's going to go down the field, throw an 80-yard bomb, but he also is going to put the ball into traffic sometimes. So, but training camp's been great for Justin Fields. I've seen all the clips of him, you know, being able to make double coverage throws and take off with his legs. And Russell Wilson obviously has not been there because he suffered the calf injury. So it's one of those things where I'm slowly getting on the Justin Fields train.
Because they said from the beginning, hey, this is Russell Wilson's job. He's going to be QB1. And that's what happens, man. If injuries take you off the field, Justin Fields is impressing. And you could have an upside and explosiveness they haven't seen in a long time from the Steelers offense. It's going to be fun to watch.
It's going to be – that's why I want Justin Fields to get this job because, again, he's up for a contract. Russell Wilson's up for a contract. Let's see who the best man wins, and I'll take the young guy over the older guy long term.
Cy Riley, always appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you, JJ.
On the opening drive. He is Cy Riley. Jerry, appreciate you coming in.
Always.
Producing, thank you. Adrian, ProView Network. Jeff Symbieta is back tomorrow, everyone. We got the Jim Rome Show coming next. Cowherd at 1, 2 men on, and then Topes Baseball tonight. Metal World, peace and love. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on